Every child is precious. Every child is also unique. So every child deserves a wholesome childhood to grow up in a nurturing environment. All children like to be with other children, to play, to sing, to dance and share their time together. But at times they are unable to do so. That's when we should help them get across and join their friends. When they have laughter and joy. When children are together, they love to play. But children also need to study. They also need nutritious food. Healthcare of good quality is also very important. Children are happiest when they are among people they love and care about. So it is essential for children to grow up in a safe environment. That's when children begin to have a wholesome and meaningful childhood. And that is why the Child Rights Advocacy Network, CRAN, was established in 2009 with the support of 5 INGOs working to promote the well-being of children in Sri Lanka. These are Save the Children, Plan Sri Lanka, 4Root, World Vision and Foundation for International Training. We are a partnership consisting of nearly 100 voluntary members scattered over 22 districts engaged in advocating for child rights. One of our advocacy efforts focuses on resourcing the rights of children. It is based on the concluding observation number 17 adopted for the government of Sri Lanka in 2010 by the Committee on the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. It is called the Child-Centric Budget Analysis and is also known as Budget for Children Analysis. It analyzes the financial resources allocated by the state to ensure the well-being of its child citizens. The first CCBA initiative was taken in Brazil in 1994. In South Asia, India and Pakistan have made significant progress in this regard. A CCBA was conducted in Sri Lanka in 2011 by our network with the technical and financial assistance of Save the Children in Sri Lanka. The objective is to achieve visible and meaningful resource allocations for a wholesome childhood. These are the stepping stones of our journey. Stage 1. Conducting research. Stage 2. Creating awareness. Stage 3. Lobbying for change. Stage 4. Adapting a budget for children. Stage 5. Creating a virtuous cycle. Stage 1. Research process. In 2010, a group of 14 representatives from the member organizations of the Child Rights Advocacy Network were trained on the CCBA tool by Save the Children in Sri Lanka. The group, using the CCBA tool, analyzed the state budget estimates of 19 ministries for the period 2009 to 2011. These are the attributes of the budget that we analyzed. Budget for children in the total national budget. Share of the sectors within the budget for children. Share of the sectors as a percentage of the total government budget. Change from allocation to expenditure. Trends in allocations and expenditure in the 4 sectors from 2007 to 2011. We conducted an extensive literature review and also considered the Millennium Development Goals, the SARC Social Charter, the National Plans of Action for Children and Mahinda Chintana, a 10-year development framework 2006 to 2016. In Stage 2, we begin to mobilize partners such as government who will implement policy decisions and programs, the academic community who will provide the required research on the subject, civil society organizations who will advocate and lobby the policymakers, sensitize and mobilize the community and conduct research. Corporate sector who will provide the funding. Media who will inform and educate the general public. The community who will identify and articulate the needs of their children. The children who will contribute actively to the process of resource allocation by articulating their needs. Our task is to create awareness among these stakeholders. So who are these stakeholders? What is their role? They are the duty bearers for ensuring a wholesome childhood for the nation's children. Parliamentarians who need to promote legislations and policies. Relevant ministries who need an accurate assessment of the prioritized needs of children. Relevant institutions such as schools, hospitals and rehabilitation centers to communicate first-hand information to relevant stakeholders. Academic community to generate evidence-based knowledge and make practical recommendations. Relevant civil society organizations to channel information between communities and children, empowering beneficiaries into becoming right holders. Corporate sector to invest a part of their profits to promote a wholesome childhood. Media for the ethical, impartial and responsible dissemination of information. Community, including children themselves, who need to be informed of their right to visible and meaningful resource allocations. Stage 3. Budget for children. These stakeholders will join hands together in lobbying for relevant policies that ensures the effective mobilization of resource allocations. What do children expect from the budget for children? They have the right to meaningful resource allocations that are visible towards a quality education, accessible quality health services and proper nutrition, holistic development and maximum protection throughout their childhood. Stage 4. Budget for children. How should the budget be formulated? Firstly, prioritizing the needs of children with more resources, both human and financial, allotted for more important needs. Secondly, the resources should be allocated in a more meaningful manner, avoiding disparities and duplications. Thirdly, the resources allocated should be visible, which means it should clearly show how much has been allocated for which activity and how it should be spent. This would make planning, coordination, mobilization, utilization, management and monitoring of resources more efficient. In stage 5, we aim to create a virtuous cycle. Visibility of resources leads to the efficient utilization of resources. This in turn results in transparency in how they have been utilized. Once there is transparency, there will be more scope for accountability by those who are responsible. When stakeholders are accountable, they will make resource allocations more meaningful and relevant. Once the success of this allocation has been established, it would result in greater effort to make future allocations even more visible. And the virtuous cycle begins to turn once again. And it's good for everyone. Good for the children. Good for the nation. For the children, it means quality education, health and nutrition, holistic development, and maximum protection. And with it, a happy childhood. To the nation, it means having an enabling environment for the wholesome development of children, identifying areas requiring improvement in the allocation for children, international recognition as a leading nation in South Asia for implementing a budget for children, and a nation that fulfills its obligation to the UNCRC. So what is the next step? We recommend the Ministry of Child Development and Women's Affairs to coordinate with all government stakeholders regarding resource allocations for children, identify and prioritize needs of children and obtain the necessary resources from relevant ministries, and maintain a database of existing human resources. The Ministry of Finance and Planning to request ministries to extract resource allocations related to children, direct all administrative levels to formulate a separate statement on budgetary allocations for children, and collate and compile them into one statement. That's the budget for children. We also recommend all stakeholders to use the budget for children as a planning, coordinating and monitoring tool. Thank you for being with us this morning. We invite every one of you to join hands in ensuring visible and meaningful resource allocations for a wholesome childhood for all children in Sri Lanka.